let's get started with our week 4 power rankings heading into week 5. We're already all to the halfway mark of the UFL season. We're going to start number 8 like we usually do, go all the way up to number 1. Number 8, I got the Arlington Renegades. They are the last winless team in the UFL. This time it was a 17-9 loss to a, one-time winless team, but you could see the offense for the first time was not firing on all cylinders, and the defense didn't look great, but they look better than they had in recent weeks. It also means that the Renegades have lost the last 3 games by 1 possession, in a couple games 1 point or less, right? And there have been just some coaching, frankly, mistakes that I've seen them make that I wish they would get corrected. One of those was just before halftime, it felt like you were going to give Luis Perez an opportunity to go maybe get you 8 points and maybe tie the game going into halftime. That didn't come into fruition. They end up trying to go for it on 4th and 19 from their own 20-yard line. Didn't work out. And on the flip side, Luis Perez also looked pedestrian for the first time all season long. I mean, he was just 15 of 28 for 144 with a TD and a pick. The Renegades, they still got some time here. Remember, this is a team that went 4-7 last year and still managed to win the XFL championship. So we'll see, especially as you got 2 teams in the XFL conference that I think they can get by. But, man, one of those teams seems to be just riding a high and getting better each and every week. Number 7 on the list, I got the Houston Roughnecks, who got their first win last week against the Arlington Renegades at home. Quarterback Reed Sennett had a pretty good day, 18 of 28 for 191 with a TD, no picks. They also got the return of USFL Offensive Player of the Year last year, Mark Thompson, who responded, right? He got his first rushing TD in his first game back. I think he's going to give them a much needed aspect of their run game. So you're going to get to see more one-on-ones, more people are going to load the box, and then Reed Sennett gets to go do what Reed Sennett knows how to do so well. Number 6, I got the Memphis Showboats, who are now riding a 3-game losing streak after getting just destroyed 32-17 by the St. Louis Battlehawks for the second week in a row. Case Cookie's got the hook for Troy Williams. They combined, though, to go just 12 of 21 for 60 yards. Cookis had the Showboats' lone passing TD, but also their lone interception. It's an offense that also got shut out in the second half, and I'm sure that John DeFilippo, who calls the plays, takes that one especially hard. The defense, though, gave up 29 points. So, I mean, that's Carnell Lake is not necessarily doing that much better. This seemed like a really great team at the start of the year, week 1, and since then they've been trying to rediscover that form. Haven't really able to bounce back from that dramatic loss to the San Antonio Brahmas, but there's still time, right? There's still time. Number 5 on the list, I got the Michigan Panthers. They lost 19-9 to the San Antonio Brahmas, but this is a team that really does tell you what they're going to be about by their offensive line. If the offensive line holds up, probably going to win a football game. The offensive line doesn't hold up, probably going to lose a football game. So last week in their win, E.J. Perry got 3 quarterback pressures in that game. In this one against San Antonio Brahmas, they weren't much better. I mean, I'm looking at this. Despite a rushing attack that had 111 yards on 17 carries, which is pretty good for them, especially knowing what they got in backs in Matt Colburn and Wes Hills, they still were getting that dude playing quarterback, running for his life. I mean, Danny Etling came in, and he seemed to be able to add some consistency to what E.J. Perry was doing. They still gave up a bunch of sacks, but he put the ball on the floor with the game on the line and have an opportunity to go back and win it. So getting it sorted out to where those guys don't feel like they got to take off and run, and perhaps lean a little bit more on your run game and then use Legatron, Jake Bates out there to kick 70-yard field goals might be the way forward for them. But again, they're 2-2. They're in the mix. They got a shot here. Number 4 on the list, I got the DC Defenders. The Jordan Ta'amu nearly took them to a win on the road against the Birmingham Stallions. That's impressive. They had the game in hand, 1-point lead with just over a minute left to play. But Skip Holtz and that offense found a way to go down the field. And then the kicker that they signed on a Tuesday made the game winner on a Saturday, and that was really cool. But Jordan Ta'amu has very much been the offense for the Defenders. 256 total yards, 12 of 22 passing for 161. They still don't have a run game. And if they ever develop a run game, I think the DC Defenders could absolutely be one of those 2 teams in the playoffs in the XFL conference. But it really does kind of gall you if you are Reggie Barlow to look at these statistics, because the Stallions average just 5.4 yards per play. The Defenders averaged 5.2. It came down to really the Defenders being able to take advantage of their opportunities, and then one play that they'll all just be thinking about, I think, for some time. So it's going into a rain delay, if you haven't watched this game. And it ended up being a lightning delay for 86 minutes, right? But before that, they tried to punt the ball. The ball goes through the punter's hands. The Stallions recover in the end zone for the touchback, and that ends up being the difference in the game, those 2 points right there. You play a clean football game, you probably get the first win against the Birmingham Stallions since last May. Number 3 on the list, I got the San Antonio Brahmas. They got their win 19-9 against the Michigan Panthers. I thought that we got to see just what Quinn Dormady was about. Like, Quinn Dormady comes in as a starting quarterback because Jake Carber's out with an injury, and I didn't know what to expect from him, and that dude put up 23 of 37 for 269 with a TD and INT. He knew exactly who his go-to guys were, and he threw him the ball, right? Justin Smith and Jatre Kirkland. That's before you get Cody Latimer involved. Looked really good back there operating A.J. Smith's offense. Also had the first tandem of wide receivers in the UFL to each note 100 yards receiving in the same game, Smith and Kirkland in that. I think they are going to be there at the end, right? They get their kicking sorted out because they seem to be the only team in the entire UFL without a legitimate, well, this guy's going to make an NFL training camp kicker. And if Wade Phillips finds that guy, perhaps you can end as the number 1 seed in the XFL because, well, they're trending that way. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how this ends up. Number 2 on the list, St. Louis Battlehawks. They got their win 32-17. It was decisive, right? We've become spoiled with these one-score games. We've had 10 of the 16 games end in 1 score or fewer, right? The Battlehawks, they weren't about it. And at that place, the America Center at the Dome, it's unfair, man. Like, it is one thing for you to get 10, 15,000 people to show up for one of these spring football games. They routinely get 35, 40,000 people to show up to their games, and they are loud. They are influencing. They are in your ear. It is not the kind of league where you're used to having to go silent count, but you have to when you're playing against the Battlehawks. And it shows, man. The defense is flying around. They know they have that advantage. They know they have that 12th man screaming at the other team. And A.J. McCarron is quietly coming into his own once again. 35, 45, 222, 3 passing TDs and an INT. Has the most completions in a game by any quarterback so far this season with 35. And they also boast not just the longest rush of the UFL season by Jacob Sailors, but they're the only team with 2 running backs who have rushed for 100 yards or more in a game. Mateo Durant and now Jacob Sailors. You're not squandering those either, right? They're turning those into wins. Anthony Beck has those guys riding high, and he should. But number 1, man, it's the Birmingham Stallions, dog. They're 4-0. It doesn't seem to matter who the quarterback is. And I'll get to this when we get to the MVP rankings. The Stallions are finding ways to win. And they found a way to win against the Defenders in a game where they didn't have a single sack. This is a team that came in with 17 sacks in 3 games and 7 and 8 in the last 2. They weren't able to get home to Jordan Ta'amu. They still were able to go get a W. You traded out the starting quarterback that threw for 300 yards, the only 300-yard pass in the UFL, and the UFL's leading rusher in Adrian Martinez from Matt Corral. He still turns in a pretty damn good performance, 240 yards passing. That's just what Skip Holtz, Zach Potter have helped build, John Chavis have helped build down there in Birmingham. There's a reason why they are closer and closer to being dynastic, right? You win 2 in a row, you're good. You win 3 in a row, you are a dynasty, and they're having fun down there at Protective Stadium.
If you like what you've seen, consider subscribing to the #1 college football show on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcast.